God, Neopets got some real cuties, doesn't it? Of course I'm referring to the fairies, not the animal-like creatures, you freak. What do you take me for, a Pokemon fan?
Some animals give me boners!
But hey, these gals got their own game in the form of Faerie Bubbles. No, they don't actually appear in this game, it's just the title. Shoot these bubbles at other bubbles of the same color to pop them. You need at least 3 bubbles to match for them to pop. Getting more than that will cause an animation to play. There are also special bubbles that change the game up. Nova bubbles pop all the bubbles in the area it was shot. And rainbow bubbles turn into the color they touch with. There are also cheat codes in this game. But each can only be used once per game. Putting in bubble turns all the bubbles the same color. Fairyland turns the bubble in the cannon into a rainbow bubble. Slumberberry makes the bar pushing the bubbles down go back up to the top. And Stardust turns the bubble in your cannon into a Nova bubble. Some of these games are honestly surprising me at this point, and... Ben 10 Battle Ready, based on the Man of Action series Ben 10, lets many kids from that time do the one thing that many Ben 10 games wouldn't for a long time after. Being able to play as up to 10 different aliens, rather than just a select few. Ben has gone training in a Sumo Slammer's trading card factory as he's attacked by Vilgax's drones. He must go throughout the hub and make his way to different levels where he must master the abilities of the alien that level was designed for. Hold X, and as the icon on the bottom rotates, you release it on the alien you desire, at least until the limiter times out. Every alien only has one attack, either a physical one or a projectile, but they're also different in their stats and movement options. Accelerate is the fastest, Forearms is the strongest, Stingfly and Ghost Freak can fly, and both Ripjaws and Grey Matter have their own unique levels that change the game. After you beat all 10 stages, you face off with the final boss, which is the giant drone from the first episode, and then there were 10. This guy can be tough, so primarily use aliens for projectiles and the explosive barrels to win. In Lilo and Stitch the series, there was an experiment under the name 625. As the number implies, he has the same abilities as Stitch or Experiment 626, but he can speak fluent English and has an obsession with sandwiches. In the game 625 Sandwich Stacker, you play a 625 holding a plate as you walk back and forth stacking up your sandwich with falling food. Be sure to catch everything that falls while avoiding the gross stuff. Fail too many times and it's game over. The stage ends when you put the last piece of bread on top. Despite how it looks, no, there isn't any physics at play, so you don't have to worry about balancing your sandwich, so that makes the game too easy, even for kids, which makes it easy to get bored of. But that's unfortunately a lot of Disney Channel Flash games anyway. Too simple for their own good, and very easy to get tired of. While Club Penguin may no longer be with us, its mini-games can still be enjoyed through emulators. Let's start with Club Penguin Pizzatron 3000. Think Bueno Rufus, but now you're manually putting everything together. A conveyor belt will slowly move to the right, as the top screen will show the pizza that you need to make. Put on the sauce, sprinkle some cheese on there, and put on everyone's favorite toppings: seaweed, shrimp, and squid. What do you expect? They're penguins.
Hey, I take that to offense. I would never eat a pizza with squid on it. Wait, are those anchovies? Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Anyway, you gotta put the exact number of toppings on each pizza you make. They want 5 squids, they'll get 5 squids. It can also get really stressful later on down the line. In fact, in some cases, it makes the later orders of Bueno Rufus look easy. Hey, so have you played Worms?
But I thought
You
that...
come to me on the day of the good lady and good as death and you was the next explanation.
Alright, so let's water it down as a free Flash game, but instead of multiple worms on screen, we used a cast of Nickelodeon's Catscratch instead. For those who don't know, Catscratch is an animated series made by Earthworm Jim's creator, Doug TenNapel, starring 3 cats, Mr. Blake, Gordon, and Waffle, who inherit their owner's riches after she passes away, as they use the money to goof off. Unable to handle each other's company anymore, they go on all-out war. Like I said, this is kind of a watered-down version of Worms. The map mainly just goes from left to right, and there are only 6 items in the game. There are items that spawn in the stage, but most of those are for points. The 6 items include donuts, a paper airplane, a long-range water balloon, a stone pillar, a balloon to move around, and the Kraken. This is one of the few Flash games you can actually play multiplayer with, so hey, go at it I guess. In Wilt's Wash and Swoosh, you play as the red tall imaginary friend Wilt, using his by design basketball skills to help do the laundry and Foster's. Use the mouse to move Wilt around and hold the button to power a shot. Release it when the dots over Wilt to get to the open washing machine. Anytime you miss, he'll apologize, because that's just what he does.
Oops, miss, sorry.
Wilt was always an overly polite character. There was even an entire episode about him getting into more trouble because he couldn't say no. Despite being such a simple game, they put a lot of effort into the visuals. The game looks very similar to the show, as the series was also animated in Flash, so that probably helped too.
Nothing but washing machine.
Neopets had a lot of games on their website back then. One that I remember in particular was the Carnival of Terror. Before I begin, let me just say that it was hard to look up info for this game because apparently there's a Roblox game of the same name. Anyway, in the Carnival of Terror, you are in a demented carnival with a constantly operating roller coaster in the back with destroyed rails. Robot chia clowns are roaming the park as they'll try to throw exploding pies at you. Some are even parachuting from the top of the screen. You can shoot off their body parts individually, which causes various effects, but what you mainly want to do is shoot them in the head twice. You have to keep an eye on your health, ammo, and time, as if any of these meters empty, it's game over. So watch out for items that will fall down in the background. Some of these robots are far in the background, which makes them harder to shoot. This game, much like many others in the series, is a time waster, but a fun one at that. In Bueno Rufus, you play as the Nick and Mole Rat, working at the not Taco Bell establishment. As orders go by, you must supply what's on the top right screen. Get enough orders right, and you'll move on to the next stage. Seems simple enough. At the beginning of the game, there's only one item per tray, but as the game goes on, there'll be 2 and 3 items per tray, and you'll need to keep track of where everything is, or you'll fill the soda with nacho cheese or chocolate syrup on the nachos. Really doesn't matter. Ron would probably still eat it anyway. This is all the game is, and despite how it looks, it can get really challenging. Despite me saying in an earlier video that most Disney Channel Flash games aren't that good, this one is an exception. Based on one of my personal favorite animated Halloween specials is the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy's Jacked Up Halloween. We have Harum Scarum. Yes, I know the title is a bit odd, especially with the use of the word harem, and I don't really know why they called it that. You play as both Billy and Mandy by switching between the two as one follows the other in an ice climber-like situation. You go from one side of the screen to the other, fighting pumpkins and bosses, most of which are ripped straight from the special. The tools you use to defeat the pumpkins are mainly prank-related items: eggs, glue, dynamite, Grimm's scythe, toilet paper, and banana peels. As one character wields one item, the other can hold another. The best item is the dynamite, as it's a projectile that does massive damage, while the worst is glue, as all it does is hold your opponent still, causing no damage. So, when you get the dynamite, just avoid the item box, or switch to the other character who isn't using it. I'm starting to realize that out of the main 3 channels, Cartoon Network had the best Flash games. Man, a lot of these games are just watered down knockoffs of games we already have, and SpongeBob Patty Panic is no different. What do I mean by this? It's literally burger time. You get SpongeBob to run on Krabby Patty pieces to finish them before Plankton or his cousins get to you first. Just like burger time, if you go for a higher up piece and it hits the next one under it, then that piece will go down too. Hitting Plankton or his cousins with a falling piece knocks them out temporarily.
Alright, I get it!
I've gotta say, there's something off about SpongeBob here. Doesn't he look a bit unhinged? Is that just me? Also, why are Plankton and his cousins so big? They're just as big as SpongeBob. Well, that's because the story is that SpongeBob is actually dreaming, and Plankton goes inside his dreams. So it's dream logic. There's as much of a point questioning dream logic as there is questioning cartoon logic. I mean, really, look at how much Plankton's size has changed throughout the cartoon series. It's similar to criticizing a nearly 2-decade-old Flash game.